Hey guys, it's Arthur again. If you're here, then you are watching How to Draw Creepy Creatures. If you're here for the last video, we did Gumo. Yeah, that was fun. Okay, also I've made some changes. I'm filming from the other side here because I noticed in the last video when I was rewatching it, my big fat hand tended to get in the way and you guys could not see what I was doing. So I moved the camera a little bit. I hope it's easier for you guys to see this time. Now, we're going to be doing another female monster, this time from Mexican folklore, called La Chuza, or the Owl Woman. It's kind of like a harpy a little bit, but it's cool because it's like a witch, and she looks like a normal woman by day, but she turns into this hideous owl creature by night and stalks kids and stuff, so it's pretty creepy. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the basic circular shape. I always like to start with the, I meant to say shape, just so you know. It sounded like I said something else. Just in case there are any kids watching, just thought I should clarify that. Okay, so we're going to start with the basic shape of the head. That's a good place to start. Now you'll notice I left a lot of room up here. Because this creature has wings, I kind of wanted to leave a little bit of wiggle room so that in case I want to decide to do a bunch of different positions with the wings. So, now because this creature is kind of like an owl, it's not going to have as much of a neck as you would see in a normal humanoid figure. So, yeah, I'm going to make her neck a little bit squat. Now, a bird often has a very round rib cage, so we're going to do that type of more oval shape as opposed to the rectangle that we did before. Okay. Okay. So like that. Now, let's draw the shoulder blades so that we kind of know where these wings are supposed to go. Alright. Okay. Yeah, she kind of looks a little bit like Mothman, same basic shape. Okay, so we got so far. Now we're gonna do a basic skeletal structure, just a tube here, tube here, tube here. Now the reason why I chose this one is that because I've been doing mostly humanoid creatures in my last couple videos, I thought that it'd be a cool challenge to do something that had birds' legs, like birds' feet. That'd be a cool new thing to show you guys how to do. So it's kind of like drawing a human leg, except there's a few more bends. Instead of drawing a human foot, I like to draw just like sort of a triangle shape at first, just to start out with. Then you can add the toes a little bit later. Now, okay. All right. Now we're going to fill in her shoulders a little bit. Remember, the neck is a little bit squat because she's more bird-like than human. Yeah. We could just draw La Chuza in her human shape, but that would be boring. Kind of like drawing a person and saying, oh yeah, that's a werewolf. He's just not changed right now. Alright, so... Okay. Alright, so now we got the basic shape. Okay, this wing's a little bit bigger than the other one, but we're going to cover up with feathers anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so we just draw a line where we want the eyes to be. A little bit here, distinguishing where the nose and mouth is. Now, since this is supposed to be an owl, kind of do like an alien. Draw big circles where you want the eyes to be. Okay. Now, we erase all that. Now, I'm actually going to start with the face, because that's the most fun to do. Okay, so, I want to draw a little tear duct. We want the eyes to be mostly round, but we also want to add a little bit of definition. Alright, see that? You see the tear duct? Okay, do the same thing on the other side, mirror image. Now owls have those beautiful reflective eyes, so that's what we're going to do. Just draw a smaller circle in the middle. She doesn't look too menacing, she just looks like a normal bird, but that's okay. Maybe she's a friendly Chuza, only occasionally eats people. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the pupil. Okay, like that. Now we're going to fill in those pupils a little bit, darken them, but we're going to leave this area here kind of white because that's where we're assuming the light's coming from, but we're going to shade the eyeball around it. Now this is important when you're shading pupils. Remember that the pupil is concave, it's not spherical. So you want to see like the light hitting here, kind of like the light hitting a bowl, because that's what it is, just basically a bowl. Now, I'm going to give her kind of like a hook-like nose to kind of a little bit like a beak, but not quite. Okay. And lips, but they should be very subtle lips so that they don't eclipse the basic owl-like quality of her face. So it still looks like a person, but not quite. Alright, see how I shaded the top lip a little bit heavier than the bottom lip, and I gave the bottom lip just a little bit of a shine. Okay, now with owls, there's this really unique pattern of feathers that you see around the eyes. Kind of like they have eyelashes almost, except out of feathers, so that's what we're going to do. Kind of defines the area, like the cheekbones a little bit. You could do a whole lot of different patterns with the eyes. I'm kind of doing like a cross between, with the feather pattern, like a cross between a screech owl and a barn owl. I've seen a couple variations where people have done great horned owls and stuff like that. It looks really cool. So I would suggest you look up different types of owls and you find the one that's your favorite and you copy that one. Yeah. Just remember, these are purely mythical animals, so you can have whatever variations you want because there's no way to get it wrong, unlike drawing a real animal from real life. So that's the fun part about drawing these. You can't get it wrong. Okay. Alright, kind of looks like that so far. Okay. Now, she's also supposed to have hair. Like the feathers give way to hair, so we're going to make it kind of stringy. Kind of like raggedy, torn, witchy hair. Alright, so draw that. So draw the part and draw the direction where you want the hair to go. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to... Alright, also going to shade a little bit up here. Kind of just imagine like where she would put eyeshadow or mascara. Yeah, shade around that area. It makes the eyes look a little bit more ominous by adding a shadow there. Kind of like where the sockets would be. Alright, maybe do a little bit around here. Remember, do graceful, gentle circles. Alright, like that. Okay, now we're going to work on the chest area a little bit. Alright, yeah, let's draw two oval shapes, because you'll notice that the chest area on a bird, it's kind of separated by two great big ovals like that, and then you just kind of layer the feathers on top of that. Okay? Now the feathers here are going to be just a little bit bigger than the feathers around her face. It's kind of cool. She's like a Mexican harpy almost. Okay. Yeah. Emphasize here because with the shading and stuff, because you want it to look like her lungs are puffed out a little bit, like her chest is puffed out. That's what birds do kind of just before they take off. Ever notice like a bird that's just about to fly because it's startled or something? They fill up their lungs with air so that they have enough energy for when they're in the air. Okay. Yeah, a little bit more definition. Remember that the feathers aren't just growing in random patterns. They're all going in a specific direction. Okay. That's what we got so far. Yeah, we're going to work a little bit more on the hair later, but now we're going to do the part that I thought you guys would think was fun, which is the legs and the feet. Okay, do you remember when we drew these triangles? Okay, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we have a general idea of where the toes are going to be. But for now, we're going to erase this muscle structure. All right. All right. This basic leg structure is good to remember because it works for birds, but also if you're drawing something that has like horse legs or goat legs or something, it's basically the same kind of shape. You just need to add 1 or 2 variations. In fact, I'm going to add a line here, so that we remember where the thumb or the toe claw is supposed to be. Now we're going to remember bird talons are separated into segments just like human fingers. What I like to do when drawing them is I just draw little circles so that we can do the individual talons. The individual segments of the talons, I should say. Right now they don't look so scary, they kind of look like Barney feet, but we're going to give them a little bit more definition. Okay. I usually like to start with the claw. Not a very scary kind of hooked talon. And so alright, that's what we got so far. We're going to try to do the same thing with the other leg. Okay. Remember, there are less feathers around the lower half of the leg. Okay. So we got so far. Kind of like these taloned feet. Alright, and so this part is fun because bird legs have scales on them like a reptile. So just the front scales kind of like this, kind of like the ridging on a goat's horn. I'll repeat this with the other leg. Okay, count how many ridges you got on each side so that it's symmetrical. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they're exactly the same. Alright. Nobody's really going to notice, but if you notice after you've drawn it, it just bothers you. Okay. 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 That's what we got so far. Now this is a really fun part. We're going to do the wings. Now the wings, you know, like when we were drawing the muscle definition over the bone, we're going to do the same sort of thing here where we're going to draw the feather pattern, like the lines for the pattern. So, okay. See that? Okay. Let's try to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Okay. Now also, I think that'd be cool to give her like a thumb claw, kind of like prehistoric birds. So, I'm going to draw a little knuckle there. Then we're going to draw a claw. Just use the same formula that you did for the other talents. But for now, let's get into doing the wings. I'll partially erase all of this. Okay. Okay. Just smooth, steady strokes for the feathers. Remember to layer them properly. Okay, there we go. Now, okay. Okay. Want to emphasize that knuckle there. Okay. Do the same with the other side. Okay. Okay, now tend to pay close attention to the feather pattern that you drew on one wing so that you can copy it onto the other wing and it looks symmetrical. Alright, once again, smooth, steady strokes for the feathers. Okay. Okay. Erase some of the finer details here. Okay. Now, before we move on, let's get back to the hair. I'm going to make it very long, stringy, and creepy. Kind of similar to the hair for the jury gumo. Okay, so remember, long, thin strokes, raggedy ends, and try to make sure that the ends come down at different lengths so that you get the feeling like it's scraggly, it's broken a little bit. like dirty, unkept hair. Okay. She doesn't actually look that scary. She kind of looks cute, but whatever. Okay. Okay. Also, let's draw a little bit of tail feathers here. Okay. Alright. Now for the nitty-gritty. We're going to add the finer details. Okay. Alright, this is what it's got so far. Right now, I'm going to add a center to each one of the feathers. You know how it kind of has that. Yeah. Alright, like that. I only do that for the larger feathers. I find that if you do it for all the feathers, like the smaller feathers, you get so much lines that it confuses the eye a little bit. So I only do those for the front and center feathers. Alright. Alright. Now, birds of prey tend to have these markings on their feathers, kind of like stripes, so that they blend in with their surroundings a little bit. So we're going to add those. Okay. Now you could do a whole bunch of different patterns with the wings. I like to use kind of like what you would see on a red-tailed hawk or something like that. Okay. Okay. Now, alright, you kind of see what the wings are supposed to look like now with that pattern. We're going to add the same pattern on this wing. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Had some slight technical difficulties. Almost ran out of space on my camera. So, right, now we got the hair done. We got these details on the wings done. We're going to shade the hair. Remember, think about the areas that the light isn't hitting, and you make that darker. Yeah, if you're using a mechanical pencil, then I suggest using the sharper side for the darker areas. Yeah, we're going to do black hair on her, obviously, because this has been black and white, but you could do, if you were drawing in color, which I'll cover later, You could do a whole bunch of different color schemes with her hair to kind of match the feathers or whatever. It's really up to your interpretation. Okay, so, right. Okay. Okay. Remember, really dark, then kind of gray, where the light isn't hitting it. All right. Right. So we got so far on the hair. Now we're going to shade her and give her some more detail. Yeah, see that little bit of shading around the chin? It really makes her face seem more three-dimensional. Gonna add some shading to her legs. Okay. Okay. Alright. Now, the scales on her feet are also a little bit reflective, so almost metallic. So kind of add a shine to those two. Make some pop. The same with the claws. Add some shading on the claws. Very shiny, very sharp. Right there. You see? Okay. Kind of draw some feathers around in the shaded area. Okay. Alright. Kind of shade the layers in her feathers. Also, just like an arm, you want to shade around where the armpit on the wing would be, because that's where a lot of the light is getting cut off by her body. Yeah, like that. Yeah, once again, you want to darken some of the areas where you're shading, the lines I mean to say, because sometimes detail can be lost. Alright. I'm going to shade under her wings. gonna erase some of the smudge marks that we made. Oh, also we're gonna shade around here because I forgot to get these talons up here. Alright, now sign off with your artist mark. And you have just drawn Chuza. Alright. Okay. Alright, that was fun, you guys. Now, I'm going to sign off here. But before I do, remember to share and subscribe and leave in the comments any particular creature you would like me to draw. I will diligently read through your comics, and as long as it's not something really weird, I'll do it. Also, look me up on Pinterest under the name Scribbler. I have a board called Creature Facts where I collect all my research about this kind of stuff because I'm a weirdo who goes home after work and does research on mythical creatures so that he can draw them. Because that's just what I do. Alright, bye you guys.